approach of your leadership that they tried tonight, it failed. Your reaction to the failure?
Well, I wouldn't have put them up on suspension, so it's a majority position of the House to fund this piecemeal in this fashion. We put 3 offers on the table over in the Senate, and each one of them were rejected. And Harry Reid wouldn't wait for us to even debate the last one. He simply announced we're going to table it in the morning. All you senators can go to bed, and then 9:30 this morning, I believe it was, then they went ahead and tabled it. I have been in a lot of negotiations in my business life, and whenever you put an offer on the table, the other side needs to bring a counteroffer. But we've never seen one from the United States Senate.
President Obama won. And why should the President of the United States negotiate on a law that he ran twice on, was elected on, his opponent ran against, American people didn't vote for his opponent, and it's been signed off on by the Supreme Court? So why should he now leave that up to negotiation?
Well, he was an adjunct constitutional law professor at the University of Chicago, and I say to him the answer to that question is Article 1 of the Constitution, the legislative branch. It's the paramount branch of government. It's set up to be the responsive branch from the people. There was a wave election in 2010.
Didn't the people speak in presidential elections twice and elected him?
Yes, and the president's job is not to pass legislation. His job is to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. And instead, he has actually amended this law a number of times, unconstitutionally, in my opinion.
The Supreme Court says it passes constitutional muster.
The Supreme Court did, and no one predicted that decision, by the way, and that's something that it's a long discussion on where that settles. But the president
what do you mean?
has
But the Supreme Court passed it, so I mean, it's the law of the land. I don't get it.
What I'm talking about is the president unconstitutionally delayed the employer mandate. He has no authority to do that. The clear letter of the law is it shall be implemented in each month following December of 2013. He has no authority. He did it anyway. He's done the same thing with his delay here on the carve-out for Hill employees. So the president hasn't followed nor respected the law. A number of other topics too, but that's just within Obamacare. And the people have elected the House of Representatives to shut off all funding to implement or enforce Obamacare. That's our stand.
No, the people have elected a small number of you and a small number of conservative Republicans who want this, who are able to do this. But you can't say that the vast majority of people have voted on this, and you really believe you are executing the will of the majority of American people?
Absolutely, I do. And I can look at the polls every single month since Obamacare passed, and in every single month the public has been in opposition to Obamacare.
So why did the president win? Why didn't your candidate win?
Well, I think the last 3 months we didn't hear from Mitt Romney that the #1 goal of a Romney administration was to repeal Obamacare. He said that all the way up until the end of the summer, but then the balance of his campaign was jobs in the economy, and he beat that drum relentlessly.
Right, but the president
put some of us to sleep with that.
But the president beat the drum of Obamacare relentlessly in 2 elections, and he won. So does that not
I don't remember
matter?
the president beating it the last 3 months of the campaign in any intensive way. He won an election. House Republicans won an election. Every Republican in the United States Congress has voted to repeal Obamacare and to shut off all funding to Obamacare.
But no offense, but the number of people who voted for you and the other House Republicans is tiny compared to the number of people who voted for the President of the United States, no?
Well, that's always going to be the case since we don't get to run nationwide. But there's a reason that we have the United States Congress.
You could run nationwide.
The president has defied. What's that, Rance?
You could run nationwide.
A person could run nationwide, but we nominated Mitt Romney. He came in second in that race. I think that there are a lot of people that overanalyze that. In the end, we have a constitutional obligation to use our prudential judgment, and we owe our constituents our best effort and our best judgment, and that is to shut off the funding to implement or enforce Obamacare. We want this government to keep running. We have voted over and over again to provide all the resources necessary to keep all the functions of government running, with the exception of Obamacare.